Here we go.
We haven't even revealed it.
Raiders records across the board. I am the highest on them, but I don't feel comfortable.
I don't feel comfortable.
I'm not comfortable.
I'm waiting to see a wall of booze.
Well,
Yeah, they are.
all right, so here we go, man. Again, shout out to all the Raiders fans. Appreciate all you guys have been really good to us. Thanks for introducing me into the community and all that stuff on your side. But I am not a Raiders fan. I'm a Jaguars fan, and I'm a football fan at the end of the day. And I would never lie to you about your own team. I'm not here. I don't even meat ride for my team, so why would I meat ride for yours? So here it is. There's a lot of things that I wanted to break down. First of all, I get that people love
Davante Adams won't be a Raider by the end of the season.
Well, it's not about shocking us all. If they do, it is what it is. I just predict what I see on paper, what I know about the team, what I know about these players. I have no bias in this. So to say that this is going to shock us, I want them to. Great. I don't care. I just want to see good football played at the end of the day.
But I can tell you nothing more than for the Raiders to win this division.
So, I mean, people can feel how they want to feel, but here's the first thing. I'm going to start with their head coach and Antonio Pierce, bringing in Marvin Lewis as well. I seen what terrible job that had happened at Arizona State between him, Marvin Lewis, and Herm Edwards. It was nasty work. That program went under it just went under the table.
Oh, man, it's got fired in the end zone.
When people talk about culture and things like that, I get it. But when you get to the NFL, all that stuff does matter in a small vacuum. You still got to go out there and you still got to coach. And I can't say, a lot of people would tell me, oh, well, look at what we did last year when Antonio Pierce came in. That's great. A lot of people get motivated by different things, but motivation only lasts so long. How long can you maintain that motivation throughout when it's really game time, when really you have the keys to the car and there's when you're out bowling and you don't have the bumpers? You know what I'm saying? It's game time, baby. It's game time. So bringing in people like Amir Abdullah, who hasn't scored 6 touchdowns, who only has 6 touchdowns in his career and hasn't had any touchdowns since 2018, brother. And y'all, that's depth. Nah, I can't get behind that. The dude has never had over 500 yards rushing or close to 600 yards rushing in his career, and that was back in 2017. Yes, it might be a veteran presence and everything, but I don't understand if you're not bringing in people that are going to compete. Alexander Madison is exactly what we said he was going to be. Fucking trash. I'm sorry. It just is what it is. He doesn't move the needle for me. Zamir White.
I'm not comfortable.
I don't know yet. I'm not comfortable. I can't even say he's a number one. I don't care how much he's been working out in the off season and everything like that. The dude has not proven that he can be the guy yet, right? I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat. I don't like the running back room at all, except for one person, and Dylan Lobby. And it's because I saw him ball out at the Senior Bowl. Granted, I watched a couple of his film from New Hampshire, but he played at New Hampshire. I have to temper my expectations by how good that he can be in the future. Gardner Minshew, I'm a Jaguars fan. I've seen that dude play. And I said that he was going to be the starter at the beginning of the season. And guess what? He was named the starter. Aiden O'Connell is like this. As much as people want to believe that he's going to be this great quarterback, he's a career backup. He's Sam Darnold, but worse. Gardner Minshew's going to win you a couple games. You guys should have went out and traded for DTR. You guys should have went out and picked up.
Well, now it might be Jameis Winston, but still.
You guys should have went out and picked up a Spencer Rattler. These two guys are not going to move the needle. Devontae Adams, great wide receiver. We already know we don't have to go through that. DJ Turner, Jacoby Myers, Tyreek McAllister doing what he did against third stringers. I don't care. Trey Tucker, on the other hand, I'm a big fan of Trey Tucker's. I've been a big fan of Trey Tucker's for a long time since he was at Cincinnati. I hope he balls out.
Trey Tucker right now is currently the starter.
But you have to rely on a dude named Brock Bowers. and you have to keep him healthy because him and Devontae Adams are the brightest spots on this team. And don't use Brock Bowers in gadget situations. And I know people talk, if you're going to do true 12 personnel, do true 12 personnel. In college, it went one way, but you guys have to utilize him as an extra blocker and then a receiver, not the other way around. You use Michael Mayer as a primary receiver and then blocker. Michael Mayer could get, if you throw 160 targets like he got at Notre Dame, he'll be good. If he gets less than that, he's not going to move the needle either. Colt Miller, understand what he is. Dylan Parham, Thayer Munford, Andre James, Cody White here. I think this is just an okay offensive line. I'm pretty high on DJ Glaze. I'm not as high on Jackson Powers Johnson as everybody thinks. He's already been battling an injury. I saw him at Oregon when he was playing guard. He was just up and down. And I just seen Andres Pete play in the preseason. And I was like, that dude is terrible. So that's what I'll say about your offense. Your offense to me is the worst part of this team. It's so frustrating. There's like 3 or 4 good guys on here that are definitely going to be good. And then the rest of them I just don't understand how they're going to move the needle. It really has to be proven to me that these dudes can mesh well. Max Crosby, already know who he is. Christian Wilkins, great pickup. Devon Diablo, Malcolm Kuntz, John Jenkins, all those guys that get it. I love Robert Spillane and what he does. Luke Masterson's like this. Amari Burney and Amari Gaynor. That's in me and Sora's wheelhouse because one of them was a Florida State guy and one of them was a Florida guy. And we know how up and down those two can be. And let's
think of this.
And let's get into something that I've been wanting to get into for a long time. Again, I don't care about the team logo. I really don't. I don't care about anybody's team logo. I evaluate your team by how I know the players, how I know the coaches, and how I know the schemes are going to go. And a 4-3 defense with having Tyree Wilson as a defensive end is going to be terrible. He was the most overhyped prospect, one of the most overhyped prospects that I've ever scouted, ever of all time. I said that dude was all strength, no technique, and he was like a big baby that you're going to have to teach him how to actually play really sound football. And right now, he's just been getting pushed over for 2 years. You guys should have picked. You know who I'm about to say, sorry, he's on your team. Who's the man at defensive tackle there that you guys picked in the first round last year? Let him know, brother. Let him know the name.
Carter.
Let him know. That's who you should have picked. So now you have to pick out Christian Wilkins to fill in that spot.
We appreciate it, though.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Then we go over to Jack Jones, who I think is going to be good. I think Chris Smith, people are severely overlook him, too, by how well he played in the preseason. Trayvon Moorick, I don't know. Jacorian Bennett, I like Jacorian Bennett. I like DeCamion Richardson. Nate Hobbs, I like him, too. I just think this defense is okay. So when I evaluated at 8 and 9, the only thing that I had to put on the table for me is saying, can the Raiders compete with the rest of the teams that they're going to compete against? And can all these pieces mesh well together when there's a lot of guys that are trying to find their way to a number one spot, which is absolutely disastrous for a team. This division is going to be nasty. You got to play 6 games that are going to be absolutely incredibly nasty for the Raiders. And it's going to be incredibly nasty for everybody else, too. Yeah, man, there's going to be some growing pains for him. But again, when I look at a running back room like Zamir White, Alexander Madison, and Amir Abdullah, I start scratching my head and severely thinking, why didn't you trade? You had Dalvin Cook in free agency, and you let him go to the Dallas Cowboys. Just as a disclaimer, if you're watching this full video when you get to it, and you feel like that we're just shitting all on the Raiders, I'm not. We're just giving you what we see. The eye in the sky doesn't lie. That's just how I feel. I evaluate players. I evaluate play styles. I don't worry about the logo, and I go in there and I make the same assumption for a lot of teams. People are going to think we're a hater. If you think this prediction was so bad and you don't like what we have to say, it has nothing to do with our fandom or any bias. We don't have any bias towards the Raiders, just like I don't with anything else. Again, this is your invitation to click unsubscribe. I really don't care at the end of the day. we're here to be analysts and give you a different perspective of what you've been hearing.
Wow.
I don't know
if Dalvin Cook is what he. I don't know if he's still got much left in the tank.
He's better than these guys, though.
I mean, okay, fair.
But I get what you're saying.
Let's not act like
Dalvin Cook is no world. Yes, he's not what he used to be. But given the state of this running back room right now, I think it would have been a valuable.
I would have much rather. And this dude is taking a major fall from grace. I would have much rather an Austin Eckler, though.
You like people. Again, if you Michael Mayer got chosen in the second round for them, I believe.
Second, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, and a lot of people had them as their number one. All of us, me, Sort, and the rest of us, had Dalton Kincaid as the number one guy. If you didn't add him, you had somebody else like Payne Durham or something, right? I think I had.
And
Payne
that was
Durham
just because of what we saw at the Senior Bowl. But yeah.
I was watching Payne Durham for 2 years and being like, that dude's a beast.
Oh, I don't know.
Michael, for people that don't understand about Michael Mayer, you have to feed him the rock. He's not a great blocker. He's a great pass catching tight end, but you have to feed him. And Notre Dame, when he was there, people don't understand. He was like the only weapon on that offense. He was. Let's just call it ball to ball, a strike. Brock Bowers is a generational dude. And I just hope y'all don't force feed him and destroy that dude's career. That's all I'm saying. There should be no reason. There should have been no reason why you went to go pick up a Brock Bowers in this draft. And that's why I always had a problem with this. Like, you could have picked a Terrion Arnold. You could have picked Talise Fuaga. You guys just let them walk. You guys fumbled the bag 2 years straight on generational players. You didn't need another tight end. I don't understand. But that's just me, man. I love y'all, Raiders Nation, man. I know y'all fan base is very, very passionate, but I think sometimes, just like every fan base, and people need to at least cut you a little piece of humble pie every once in a while. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Just like I don't sugarcoat my own team. I had the Jaguars as a 7-win team this year. You think I enjoyed doing that? But no, I had to pull back the layers of reality, and it smacked me right in the face. But go ahead, go in. I probably spoke for both of y'all, but I've been sitting on this one for a hot minute, brother. I know we got like 12 minutes, so
yeah,
I'm not comfortable.
I'm gonna try to keep my evaluation here quick. I like the defense holistically. I think it's a solid unit, especially with the addition of Christian Wilkins. I think that changes a lot, especially in the running game, because he can be a game wrecker. He will rack up the tackles and just disrupt stuff in the backfield. I think the linebackers are underrated. Divine Diablo, Robert Spillane, adding Tommy Eichenberg, underrated linebacker group. Yes. And even the secondary, I like some of those guys, right? Jack Jones, Marcus Epps, I think it's going
my boy
year
next
2.
to Jay Severo on that defensive line. I think he's going to be all right as an anchor piece.
There's some solid pieces here. Nate Hobbs. I mean, I like Trayvon Moehrig. I mean, he's kind of had his ups and downs, but I still I have hope for him. And then I really like the Camryn Richardson pick. I really liked him. He was great at Mississippi State. Hated playing against him because he beat us. Great player. He needs to continue to develop. So this defense is solid, right? My problem is this offense, especially if Devontae Adams does get traded, right? If he stays, it helps. But this offense, I think you're going to have so much trouble moving the ball. Brock Bowers is really your own, him and Devontae Adams, I think, are your real weapons here. Jacoby Myers is a good 2, but if Adams is gone, Jacoby Myers cannot be your number 1 guy. That means you're in big trouble, the lack of a running game, and then at quarterback, whether it's Minshew or Aiden O'Connell, I think that on offense, you're just very limited. So I just don't see that, again, solid defense being able to make up for the massive deficiencies that this offense is going to have. So that's why I have the Raiders only winning 5 games. Is I just don't think that the offense is going to be able to keep pace with the opposing offenses, no matter how this defense plays, except for, save a few games. So I think it's going to come down to not having not having weapons or even just not having a quarterback who's capable of elevating those around him. Because I think that
Gardner Minshew's better than AOC, and AOC's not that guy, man. He's not. I've seen it in college many times. Like, he looks fantastic, and then it looks like dog shit the next week. You can't move in the NFL like this guy, man.
These quarterbacks are the type of quarterbacks who are elevated by those around them. They are not guys who elevate others, right? You look at a guy like Patrick Mahomes, he elevates others, right? He had a bunch of scrubs at wide receiver last year, really. He elevates others. But Gardner Minshew is elevated by others, and there's just not enough guys around him to elevate him, to pick him up. So
Jacoby Myers could have been a number one on another team. He was a number one on the New England Patriots and could never eclipse over 6 touchdowns or 800 yards. He already had his chance, brother. Like, I'm sorry, guys. You guys are probably going to hate my fucking guts, but like, I'm telling you the truth, man. I'm telling you the truth. I don't evaluate, I don't evaluate the logo. I evaluate the players that are on your team and what you guys are projected to do. And I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat this shit. Jacoby Myers is a number 2. Where exactly he's at is where he's going to be. He's a good wide receiver. I like the things that he does. But when he was asked to be a number 1, the dude could barely stay healthy, and he would drop passes in the end zone like nobody's business. He literally made Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi look worse than they actually are. Like, seriously.
Yeah, I don't see it with this offense personally. Like, I love Davante Adams. He's an incredible receiver. He just doesn't have really anything around him to take any attention away from him. There's no one really to spread the ball out to. I mean, again, I think Myers is a solid set number 2, but I just don't see it with this Raiders team. I don't. And I'm still perplexed by the Brock Bowers pick as well, right after you take Michael Mayer. I understand that it was like best player available kind of thing, but I just and then of course, I'm not even going to get into Tyree Wilson and the flop he's been. So that's my spiel. I just don't see it with the offense.
Listen, this was before you knew us, Khalid, but Dante and I pretty much stood alone on that whole Tyree Wilson thing.
We banged the table on that, Khalid.
Like, it was like it's like the damn
Thor's not even a scout. I'm technically a scout now. This is before I graduated. Mm-hmm. I'm like, bro, I wouldn't literally if we started a football team, he'd be the last person I'd choose.
Dante and I would do film studies at like midnight, 1 o'clock.
He's not even worth a practice squad spot to me.
And then JB in the chat, you said, do you have the Raiders beating anyone in their division? I have them beating Denver once and then beating the Chargers in the last week of the season because I think the Chargers will have clinched by then and will rest their starters.
Gardner Minshew and AOC are going to look like dog shit because they have no great running backs there. They don't, bro. They don't.
Yep.
And Gardner Minshew, when he had true good running backs with the Colts, he cooked. He was really good. And I mean, I honestly think Gardner Minshew gets severely overlooked all the time, but like, Sora, go ahead and close this out. I know we only got a couple minutes. Yeah, people are gonna hate my guts. I love y'all, man, but like, this is not a show where because I'm cool with y'all cool with me, that I'm not gonna just sit here and lie to you. Yeah. I knew this one was gonna be straight rough. Up. Hit the unsubscribe button, brother. Just go ahead and do it.
There's really not much else that I can add to this. I think the depth at wide receiver and the depth at O-line is really going to be the downfall of the Raiders. They've gotten a lot better on defense. Again, we talked about the addition of Christian Wilkins. Him paired up with Max Crosby is going to be a deadly duo. It is going to be your defense and your front seven that's going to keep you in these games. If Gardner Minshew can, because there's a reason why this dude's been on multiple teams. I can see them get to that 8-9 or 9-8 potentially record. It's very possible. But there is a reason why Gardner Minshew has gone from team after team after team every year. The only reason why he got so much playing time for the Colts was because Anthony Richardson was injured. We saw the few games that he stepped in for Philly when Jalen Hurts was out. We remember that terrible Saints loss game that happened. had some good games against the Colts, but again, also had Zach Moss for the Colts. Also had Jonathan Taylor for the Colts. Not Zach Moss. Can't remember the dude's name, but the other guy for the Colts. So he had two good running backs for the Colts.
Jonathan Taylor and Zach Moss.
Jonathan Taylor, and then who the other guy that filled in?
Nyheim Hines.
Nyheim Hines. No, Nyheim Hines was on the Bills. I think he got suspended because he got in that accident last year. I know you're talking about. I'm just drawing a blank. I'll look.
I thought Zach Moss too.
But Zach Moss and Jonathan Taylor had like 700 yards apiece last year.
Oh, was it Zach Moss? Okay, so either way. So he had two good running backs on the Colts.
Whichever way you want to slice it.
Yeah, pretty much. Again, y'all's O-line got a bit better. It went from 29th to 19th this previous year. I think DJ Glaze was a good addition. Obviously, because y'all saw it on Graph's channel with all the, the film study that Dante and them did with DJ Glaze. I think that's going to be a good addition. Mm-hmm. I think y'all need to add a couple more pieces to the O-line. And
Trey Sermon's there.
Okay, I think y'all need the quarterback of the future. I don't think Gardner Minshew is it. He's still the bridge, and Aiden O'Connell is just very up and down. He was the same way in college. And y'all also, look, very few times will I say that a running back needs to be drafted in the first, unless they were generational and going to the right situation, half of which was true for Saquon Barkley, just didn't go to the right situation. But if y'all can find like a quarterback for the future and like free agency, I don't know if some trade or like big offseason addition happens. I think running back needs to be a big target for y'all because this depth is horrible. Even though we all like Dylan Lobby, I don't really think any one of us is going to sit up here and say that, oh yeah, he could be a true, 1,000-yard rusher, running back number one. Just offense still needs some pieces. I think this is going to be the year where you kind of have your full first year under Antonio Pierce, evaluate it, realize, the key components that you're missing, address that in the offseason and draft, keep these key pieces on defense, and then I think y'all will be good. This year, I think it's just there's not enough pieces on offense. And who knows what's going to happen to Devontae Adams by the halfway through the season. He could be gone. And if that's the case, then y'all need to worry about else. Then obviously you need to worry about wide receiver. Because Jakobi Meyers, I think, great wide receiver too. Mm-hmm. I don't think he, like Dante said, he had his time in New England to show what he could do at wide receiver one, and it just didn't work out well.
Yeah.
Great piece for number two, but you need a true elite wide receiver one if Devontae Adams goes, and unfortunately, Jakobi Meyers is just not that.
Yeah, and I'm going to end it on this, so we got to end this stream. Again, Raiders fans, we appreciate you, but this is just our opinion. But understand, our opinion is by
JB. Dak Prescott would be great if you get him in the offseason, focus on like adding another weapon like a Luther Burden or something in the draft. Get some offensive linemen.
Yeah, but
y'all are set for the future. But still, that's months and months away.
I know our viewers dropped off after we gave our opinion,
and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and ring the bell notification so you're always notified.
All right, well, the 12th. Oh my god. That's what I'm saying. At this point, like, bro, you just gotta just be you, bro. Just be you, bro.